Sometimes a silhouette of a gown can define the whole design of a dress. Recently, couture and red carpet designs have been embracing these architectural bold silhouettes, creating stunning abstract works of wearable art. But also throughout recent fashion history, there are great examples of designers exploring these architectural shapes and forms to create some drama for a dress. This gave me the inspiration for today's design. I wanted to explore some architectural silhouettes myself. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Henny and this is Studio Henny's. So here is the design in question. It features some bold shaping above the shoulder and below the waist that hugs around the body, and also some pleating around the waist, but otherwise it's a fitted shape. For the fabric, I'm going to use this red Duchess, and if it looks familiar, that's because I used it in my previous video as well, and then I told you that you are still gonna see this lady because I still had a lot. Well, now not much left. Right, and as per usual, I'm going to work on my half-scale dummy, and I don't want to waste any more time, so I think we should just get to it and let's make a gown. Right, so I just started with the base dress. So I just aligned my calico at the center front and at the side seams, and then I started pinning at the side seams and just creating some under bust darts and just cut some excess fabric away. And then I quickly moved on to the back and just started draping the back as well, and just positioning my side seams here as well. And then I just started marking my darts and also the side seam and the neckline and also the waistline. And I just did the same at the back, so just marking the darts. And just cutting some excess fabric away. And also marking my neckline and waistline. And just making sure it's all aligned. And then I moved on to the skirt. Again, just pinning it at the center front and the side seams, and just creating some darts and making sure the darts align with the bodice. And then just repeat it at the back. And again, just creating some darts. And now I'm just going to match the sides and just check the balance of the skirt, the rest of the skirt, like towards the hem. It's good to do that when you're draping a skirt, just to make sure that the front and the back is hanging nicely, so there is no twisting or dragging going on. And then moving on to marking the waistline, the darts. Right, and once it's done, we can move on to tracing it all off and just moving it to pattern paper. I started using this really transparent paper, but only for these YouTube videos. Normally, I don't really like it. And even in this video, I'm gonna be like swapping it around to like a dot and cross and this paper. Let me know if it matters to you, if it's better that it's transparent. So yeah, so I moved all of these draped pieces onto the paper, and obviously adding the seam allowances, you know, and just making sure that all the seams are matching, all the darts are matching, and just finalizing the lines after draping. And of course, I'm going to stitch a quick mock-up because that's also going to help me to build the rest of the dress. So I just quickly cut it out in calico, just single layer, nothing fancy. And then I moved on to just assembling quickly. Right, so we got this far now. I have the mock-up for the base. I do have some fitting issues. So it turns out that I think it's like a balance issue because my side seams seem to be okay, but I do have some issue here at the back. It seems to be a little too small. So I'm going to adjust that. And also it needs to be a little bit more fitted here on the overbust. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave this now as it is, and I'm just gonna pin it into position, and then I'm gonna move on to creating the base for the sculptural part of the dress. So let's get to it. Right, so I started to drape this structural element of the dress, and so I just positioned my calico at the center front, and I was trying to align it with the base dress, but then at the same time, like, I also wanted to also, you know, start creating the structural silhouette that goes around the shoulder. So again, I'm just creating the darts, but those darts are going to be, they're not going to be on the dress eventually, but I do need some shaping for now, and then later I can close it because the neckline is actually coming down quite a lot, so you're not going to need those darts. Right, just snipping into the fabric here and there so I can have some release there. And already like sort of shaping the neckline of the design, and also at the same time I started draping the back. Something like this I like to do, you know, all the way around so I can see it as a whole. So I would never, like, you know, do the front and then do the back. I just I try to get to the same stage with the front and the back at the same time. So the idea for the process is that I'm going to create like a fitted shoulder first, and then I'm going to start releasing it at the shoulder and creating it by slashing into it and just adding some fabric. Yeah, so I'm just marking the darts here because eventually this is gonna have to come off the dummy, so it's all the same process as usual. Right, so here I already started opening up the neckline and just adding pieces of fabric there just to start creating the shape. And just a little bit of spoiler, guys, it's going to look like a mess at first, but it's gonna get there. Yeah, so just really gradually adding pieces of fabric and just doing it until I'm happy with how it stands up. And here it is, guys. I know how it looks. I know it looks like a terrible disaster, but trust the process. It's gonna get there, trust me. So here I'm just also like measuring things because I still need to add some height. So I'm just looking at the sketch, you know, comparing things, marking the neckline, how I would like it to be. Always just, you know, check the design, check your creation against the sketch, or if you like it. Right, and this is how this looks. This is going to be the base for the structural element of the dress. So I'm just quickly marking things, the position of the center back and the center front and the side seam. And also, you know, I would like the back to slightly shift to the front as well. So I also need to do that line and just matching the sides so it can kind of extend. And then I'm just adding some seam allowances. Right, so here we are. So I did like a little mock-up with the paper. And to be honest, I did a little adjustment on the paper pattern, and I wish I didn't, because I I kind of messed things up, but so now I'm kind of like missing a little bit here when I put everything in position. So my center front is aligned and center back is aligned, and also I'm missing like a big chunk from the armhole, but that's my fault. Yeah, I didn't record it, but I was just messing with the paper pattern. But anyways, so I think this is looking quite all right. I'm just going to do these adjustments. I do like how this like comes up and then sort of shifts to the back. So I think that's nice. It's true to the sketch, let's just say. So that's just going to be the base. I'm going to sort these little mistakes out, and then probably I'm just going to move on to the skirt part. So I'm just going to have like a base pattern for that area as well that is like overlaying this. I might do like a fabric mock-up for this first before I move on to the skirt. Yeah, let's see. Right, also just wanted to show you the pattern for this thing, this structural form or whatever you want to call, that's going to sit on the shoulder. And also this is just going to be the base, and so this would be the outline, and all these lines are just like indicating my boning positions. It's probably going to have boning here as well, so that's your armhole, and boning, 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 and then I'm just going to have like another boning coming like this. I'm not sure if I can actually curve the boning like this, I will see, but I definitely must have something that is going across all the boning, so it creates like some sort of like a cage, so it's actually gonna hold things up, because if I only do the bonings upwards, then it's just gonna start warping down. So that's what's gonna happen. So I need an additional, maybe another row as well, I'm not sure, I will see. I'm just gonna stitch a quick mock-up for that. Guys, just a quick pause as usual. I just wanted to thank you for watching, and if you got this far, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, or all of them at the same time. I'm not judging. Thank you. You can also check out the description of this video, because I have some goodies in there, like free PDFs, the list of the tools that I use, some book suggestions and things like that, so just check out the description. And also, I have a request. If you would like to inspire me, just drop a comment below with your favorite looks of like recent seasons, or even like old vintage styles. I would like to know. Alternatively, you can always DM me on Instagram. I'm eager to see what you guys have for me. Okay, let's get back to making this dress. Right, and once I had the mock-up, I started just draping on top of it, because we have some pleating going on this structure. So that's what I was trying to do. So just creating some pleats. I'm just playing around at this point, so just see what I like. And then once I got that, I moved on to transferring everything. As you can see, I'm only draping like partially, because I'm going to sort of puzzle the pieces together when I'm transferring it to the pattern. As you can see, I'm just taking my base pattern and marking the same join lines, and then I'm just going to add that draped part to the pattern and just trace it off. Just marking the pleats. Right, so I've got the pleats, I mocked it up, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't like it. I'm gonna be thinking about this now and just try to come up with something that is a little bit more interesting, because I don't know, I just don't really like these sharp pleats. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Like, you're gonna find out like probably in the next few seconds, but in reality I'm just gonna be sitting here thinking for a moment. Yeah, I don't know, let's see what's gonna happen. So what I tried first is that I pleated up a bigger piece of fabric, just like random pleats, as you can see, and then I put my base on top of it, and then just cut around it and see if that makes it any more interesting. You know, maybe I'm creating some texture and it's gonna look nice. It didn't. I didn't like it at all. So that kind of went to the bin. And then I thought, okay, so maybe I'm still going to try to create these pleats, but I'm going to kind of fake it. So I just started creating some panels on this base, as you can see. So I'm just paneling like pieces of fabrics, and then it looks like as if it was pleated up. But actually these are all like separate pieces of fabric.
Okay guys, we are back on track now. So what I did, I'm just basically building up like panels on top of this base, and so I can sort of mimic the pleats, but also just have the right direction for the pleats, and it's just going to be much easier. I'm going to put like another panel here, so I have like a different angle coming in here as well, and it's all gonna like come out of the armhole. And also I'm just gonna have like one on the back as well. So yeah, I'm gonna have this like that, and after that I'm just gonna move on and just do the skirt part as well. So that's the next thing now.
Right, so I moved on to the skirt, as I mentioned. And again, I'm just roughly draping and just trying to figure out the shape. I also want to have like a little bit of curve in the base of the skirt, as you can see. So I just started slashing and, you know, pinning some fabric and just create this silhouette around the hip area. And again, you know, just securing the other side as well, because it would have like a little bit of like a wrap effect. And here you can see I'm just checking the seam line against my base skirt, because they should be matching, and just marking some positions for the same paneling that I was doing on the top. So I'm just going to carry on the same thing on the skirt as well. Yeah. So at this point I was ready to just take it off, and then after this there was hours of pattern making, because I had to trace all the panels and I had to finalize all the patterns and make sure that everything is matching, and you know, all that jazz that comes with this. I mean, because this dress consists of the base bustier dress, and then we have this structural shape that is sitting on the shoulder, and then also I have two shaped panels that is like coming out of the skirt, and then all the paneling. So these are all like separate pattern pieces. Right, so once it was all done, obviously I started cutting. I fused the base, obviously. I started with assembling these paneled parts. So I just built the panels on top of the structural pieces. I hope this makes sense. And then I started to assemble it that way, because a lot of things are going to get inserted into side seams. So I didn't want to start with the base. I wanted to have all of these prepared. But then also, obviously, after that, I moved on to the beige dress and just putting it, so without closing the side seams, I just started to put the whole dress together, just building the panel pieces on top as well. And the structural part that is going to be on the top is going to have this canvas insert with a calico, because I needed some extra structure, and it's almost like a corset, but for this area, and it's going to be in between the outer and the facing. So obviously you're not going to see it, but I'm just securing some bonings to it.
Right, I just wanted to show you guys the inner structure. So I have this canvas and calico stitched to the facing of that structure. So on the inside this is completely gonna look clean, and then I have the well, it's not a corset, right, but it's just like a structural thing with the bonings that is actually stitched to the edge of my facing. Yeah, I mean, for this size I think the bonings are enough. Obviously if this was like a bigger size, you would need probably more than this for something like this. Right, let's keep moving.
What I also wanted to mention is that this part of the dress is going to be completely separate because it would be too bulky to insert it into the waist. And also there is like an overlapping element on the side because my back goes to the front as well. So, and because I needed a side seam, I decided to have it completely separate, and this is literally just wraps around the body and then it closes with a snap on the side. And yeah, and now I'm just here, just finishing touches. Again, I'm not lining these half steel creations because it would be too bulky on this small dummy. I think I've explained this before in another video.